Hello, folks. Tonight we're doing lesson 61. I am the light of the world. It's 7 paragraphs long. We'll do 1 paragraph at a time, and we'll do our best to finish in about an hour. All right, I'll go ahead and read the first paragraph. Lesson 61. I am the light of the world. Who is the light of the world except God's Son? This, then, is merely a statement of the truth about yourself. It is the opposite of a statement of pride, of arrogance, and of self-deception. It does not describe the self-concept you have made. It does not refer to any of the characteristics with which you have endowed your idols. It refers to you as you were created by God. It simply states the truth. End of paragraph 1. Okay, some points. All right, the title, I am the light of the world. Okay, so your function, your mission, your purpose is to be a light in each moment, interaction, and situation. Okay, that's your primary purpose. In each moment, interaction, and situation, you're there to be love in physical form, in whichever way that love is being requested from in those moments. Paragraph 1, sentence 1. Who is the light of the world except God's Son? And so, who's the light? Everyone, each and every one of us is the light of the world. Okay, it says each and every one of us, no matter what the ego says about your brother or sister, they too are the light of the world. And so, if you want to see the light inside of you, since we're all one, practice seeing the light inside of everybody else, even if it seems a little dim. Paragraph 1, sentence 3. It is the opposite of a statement of pride, of arrogance, or of self-deception. Okay, it's the opposite of pride because you are as God created you. You're not arrogant to say that you are as God created you. You're arrogant to say that God did not create you, that you are unlike God. So it's not arrogant to say that you are like God because God is your source. And so whatever God is, you are. That's not being arrogant. That's just saying who in truth you are, the truth about you, which is love. Okay? So God is love, and therefore you are that love. And that is not arrogance. Let's see what else. Paragraph 1, sentence 6. It refers to you as you were created by God. And so you simply are what God is. And it says in sentence number 7, it simply states the truth. It refers to you as you were created by God. And so you were created by God to be a light. And so that's simply who you are. Whatever God is, you are. Any comments or questions on paragraph 1? No? All right. Would somebody like to read paragraph 2?
I can if you want me to.
Thank you.
To the ego, today's idea is the epitome of self-glorification, but the ego does not understand humility, mistaking it for self-debasement. Humility consists of accepting your role in salvation and in taking no other. It is not humility to insist you cannot be the light of the world if that is the function assigned to you. It is only arrogance that would assert this function cannot be for you, and arrogance is always of the ego.
Okay. So today's lesson appears to be pretty simple, right? I am the light of the world. Okay. But even though it is simple, it's a very useful lesson to try to understand so that you can implement. Okay. If you can make this lesson a constant companion to you, reminding yourself over and over again that you are the light of the world, It will be very helpful in your daily experience. Okay, so let's see. Paragraph 2, sentence 3. Humility consists of accepting your role in salvation. Okay, so humility consists of accepting your role in salvation. Okay, so you want to find peace in doing what God created you to do. Okay, so whatever it is, whatever moment you're in, you're there to be love, right? AKA light, right? So when you're being an example of forgiveness, when everybody around you is in judgment, that's simply doing your job, your purpose, fulfilling your purpose. Okay, you're helping light the way for others to a place of peace. Hello, hi Luna. Lesson 61. Whenever you're in a place where hi Roberta, it's lesson
Hi,
6,
everyone.
lesson 61, 6-1. We're paragraph 2. So it says paragraph 2, sentence 3. Humility consists of accepting your role in salvation. Okay, so what is your role in salvation? It's pretty simple. It's just being that expression of love. Hello, Joy. We're doing lesson 61, 6-1. And we're doing paragraph 2. All right, so that's your role in salvation. It's very simple. It's just to be a light. And whatever form God is asking you to be that light. So let's say your brothers or sisters are in fear or worried or anxious. What's your job? Your job is to show them that peace is available even in this moment. How is peace available? Maybe you can invite them to trust God more. And when they trust God more, they have more peace. Hello, Lori. Lesson 61, 6-1.
Hi. Sorry I'm late.
It's all right.
Oh,
Let's see.
is that workbook lesson 61?
Yes, workbook lesson 61. Any comments or questions on paragraph 2? No? All right. Roberta, would you like to read paragraph 3?
Oh, sorry, working my way inside from work now.
Okay. Maybe Luna, would you like to read paragraph 3 or Mike? Okay, thank you, Mike.
Yeah, can you hear well?
If you can get a little closer to the mic.
A little closer?
Yeah.
True humility requires that you accept today's idea because it is God's voice, which tells you it is true. This is a beginning step in accepting your real function on earth. It is a giant stride towards taking the rightful place in salvation. It is a positive assertion of your right to be saved and an acknowledgement of the power that is given you to save others.
Thank you. All right. Isabel, we're doing lesson 61, paragraph 3.
Thank
Okay.
you.
True humility, paragraph 3, sentence 1. True humility requires that you accept today's idea because it is God's voice which tells you it is true. Okay. So accept that you accept your path, your part in God's plan for salvation. Okay, so when you're being humble, all you're doing is what God is created you to do. Okay? So that's an expression of humility because you're simply doing who God created you to, you're simply being who God created you to be, right? You're not doing any kind of Superman stuff or Superwoman stuff. You're just being who you truly are, who God created you to be. So true humility requires that you accept today's idea, which is the ideas I am the light of the world, because it is God's voice which tells you that it's true. And so anytime you can express a loving expression, that's truth. And so when you're expressing compassion, that's truth. When you're being a light of forgiveness, that's truth. When you're being a light of kindness, that's truth. When you're being a light of mercy or grace, that's truth. Okay. So it's when you align yourself with the mind of God, that's true humility, because all you're doing is being the truth in you. You're reflecting your true nature. Okay. Let's see. Paragraph 3, sentence 2. This is the beginning step in accepting your real function on earth. Okay. Again, your real function on earth, your real purpose on earth is to be who God created you to be in each moment, in each interaction, in each situation. That's your true purpose. Okay. You might have a purpose that says, well, I'm a nurse, or I'm a financial advisor, or I'm a policeman, or I'm a politician. Okay. That might be like, quote unquote, your job on earth, whatever that is. But beneath that, your true purpose is to be a light in the world in each moment, interaction, and situation. And that's the true purpose for every one of us. Okay. Somebody could be a nurse, somebody could be a police officer. Okay. They have two different jobs, it appears like, right? But both of their jobs in reality is to be in the moment and to be a light in that moment. Okay. So you have your job in level 2, and then you have your job which is your true job, which is in level 1. So you're supposed to be a reflection of level 1 on level 2. Level 1 is oneness, level 2 is duality. Level 1 is of God, level 2 is of the ego. Let's see what else. Paragraph 3, sentence 4. It is a positive assertion of your right to be saved. Okay. Let's see. Okay. It is a positive assertion of your right to be saved. Okay. The power you have to lead others to the light in them. Okay. And an acknowledgement of the power that is giving you to save others. Okay. So you have a right to break free from the chains that hold you captive to the ego's world, and then you have the power to lead others to the light in them. Okay. So in the first part of sentence 4, it is a positive assertion of your right to be saved. Okay, so part of your right on earth is to be saved. What does that mean to be saved? At least towards the Course in Miracles, to be saved. Okay, that means when you break the chains that hold you captive to the ego's world and mindset. Okay, when you break those chains that hold you captive to the ego's world, you are saved. Okay, that's Course in Miracles, saved. Okay, and then once you're saved, then you can become an example to others. By being a light, you can become an example to others of the light in them. All right, any comments or questions on paragraph 3?
James, I have a question
Yes.
about the number 4. So it's usually said that we can only I can only save myself. I cannot save others. That's like a common realization and quote. So I was just wondering, why does this say that we have the power to save others? Like, how do you distinguish between overstepping your boundary, or you don't have actually you shouldn't stress yourself over saving others because your only responsibility is to save yourself, right? And versus what the Course in Miracle is saying, that you have the power to save others. How does how does that distinction, is there a distinction? When do you know that to save, quote unquote, save, and when not to? And how is it done?
Okay, just imagine imagine you're a firefighter, right? And there's a fire in a house, okay? And everybody's locked in that house, right? And so they're gonna perish in that house because they don't know how to get out, let's say, as an example,
Mm,
right? Now you have the expertise because you're the firefighter, right?
mm,
And so before you were a firefighter, you had to become a firefighter, right? So
mm,
you had to save yourself, right? By consciously practicing aligning with the light in you and letting go of the ego's stories, right?
mm,
Little by little, you saved yourself, you became a firefighter, right? Now there's a fire in a house, you have the expertise, you go into the fire, you're called into the fire, you break through a door, right? Because you know how to break through the door, and you open the door, right? So now people that are inside the house in that smoke can see a little light, which you opened up because of your example, right? And so now they can go towards the light and be saved, right?
mm,
But it was only because you opened the door. And so, see, you save yourself, right? By by consciously and constantly aligning with the light inside of you instead of the darkness, right? Little by little, you save yourself. Now you become an example for others that in any situation they can choose the light over the darkness.
mm,
So just by being an example in each moment and situation of the light, you give people an opportunity to be saved by following your example. So when your brothers or sisters are judging each other and fighting, and you go in there with the aspect of, listen, maybe we can discuss this and find a way to forgive each other or have a little more compassion or understanding or mercy or grace, then you bring the light into that situation. Now, if they want to, if they see the logic of it, they can follow you to forgiveness, to freedom. And if they don't, they remain in the darkness. But you offered them that opportunity to be saved by already being saved yourself. I don't know if that answers the question.
yes, thank you. That answers the question. Very helpful. Thank you.
Okay. Any comments or questions on that, on Joy's comment or question? And can you repeat your question again, Joy, in case somebody else wants to say anything?
Oh, my question is about it is often said that we can only save ourselves, not others. So how can we why is it that in this course it says that we have the power to save others? So that was my question.
Thank you.
Let me make a comment.
Can you speak a little bit louder? Or,
Better?
yeah.
Somewhere in the course it says that there's many ways of teaching, 12 L's by example. You don't know to get involved in, oh, this person is very angry. I need to, help this person stop getting angry. What you need to do is be an example. And if that person, what they need right now is a lot of anger, so they eventually realize that there must be another way, well, that's their path. You cannot change your path. All you can do is be an example for whoever is ready at this time to hear that, and whoever's not ready may take it as an attack.
But they ultimately, everybody will find their way. So, I mean, by saving, we're just trying to speed up the process, are we not? That we
Yeah.
all are awakened, correct?
Yeah. The course says that the ending is sure. It also says free will means that you can establish, free will does not mean that you can establish the curriculum. The end is sure. The path is sure. It does mean, however, that you can choose what you want to take at a given time. You can delay as much as you want. That's free will. You can have as much pain as you want before you get to the point where there must be another way.
Right. It's just that, I guess there's a lot of sadness in when you feel like you are in a peaceful place and a loved one is not. And, before looking at it in this light, I would have thought, oh, if I can't save them, they will never find the light. And now, see, the whole focus is switching to, I'm going to shine my light, and they may not see the light this lifetime or now, but they will ultimately, everybody will come home, right? Is that how I'm taking this?
When you say something to somebody that is not ready to hear it, something loving, they may take that as an attack. They may get very angry. If what you want is argument and you want a good fight and the other person refuses to fight, you may take that as a put down. You may get very angry. But you don't know if 10 years from now that person will say, you know what she said to me 10 years ago that made me so angry? Yeah, that's something that I need to take a look at. You don't know their timeline. The ending is
Right.
true. The ending is sure. The timeline is not.
Yes.
Thank you.
And imagine there's a thing called time, right? And there's a thing called eternity, right? We are eternal, right? So what actually is time to eternity? It's like a blink of an eye, right? We're here for a very short, quote unquote, time. Let's say, God willing, 80 years. Okay. And then you have eternity, is who we truly are, right? So when the ego views this thing of time, and it says, well, man, it's gonna be my whole life trying to deal with this situation, trying to find peace. It's freaking 80 years compared to the eternal being that you are, right? So to the ego, it's a big deal. But to your true nature, which is love, and has always been love, and will always be love, it's just a little blink of an eye. So don't take it so seriously. Yes, don't take this life so seriously, my friends. It's just a blink of an eye to eternity. Blink of eternity's eye. And who you are, you have always been, and you will always be. Everything else is just a silly little dream. We are dreaming. All right. Would somebody like to read paragraph 4?
Yes,
I
I'll read it
will.
now.
Okay.
No,
All
you
right.
go first.
Okay. You will want to think about this idea as often as possible today. It is the perfect answer to all illusions and therefore to all temptation. It brings all the images you have made about yourself to the truth and helps you depart in peace, unburdened and certain of your purpose.
Thank you. Okay. Paragraph 4, sentence 1. You will want to think about this idea as often as possible today. Okay. Very simple, folks. That your day is always going to mold itself so that you can achieve the lesson for the day. Okay? So the day will mold itself to allow you the opportunities to show yourself that you are indeed the light of the world. Okay? So when it says you will want to think about this idea as often as possible today, if you forget to think about this idea, do not worry about it, because the day will bring you opportunities to remind yourself that I have to remember I'm the light of the world. Anytime you get triggered, stop. Get triggered by the ego, stop. And say to yourself, wait, what's the lesson for today? I am the light of the world. And so trust me, when you today's lesson, when you do it, You'll be offered plenty of opportunities, and plenty of people will come into your experience to help you practice today's lesson. Okay. Paragraph 4, sentence 2. It is the perfect answer to all illusions and therefore to all temptations. Okay. So this idea for today, I am the light of the world. Okay. That should be your answer to all temptation. Okay. What's temptation? How do you define temptation according to the Course? Okay. Anytime the ego is trying to make you act in a way that you use its tools and its mindset, that's called temptation. So anytime the ego says, oh no, be angry right here, be judgmental right here in this moment, be resentful in this moment, be hateful in this moment, be anxious or fearful or doubtful in this moment, feel shame or guilt in this moment, that's, according to the Course in Miracles, is temptation. Okay? So here in sentence number 2, makes it very simple for you. It is the perfect answer to all illusions, it being the lesson for today, which is I am the light of the world. And so I am the light of the world is the perfect answer to all illusions and therefore all temptations. So whenever the ego tries to take over your mind, what do you say? I am the light of the world. Okay, that's how you answer the ego in this when you're doing today's lesson. Let's see. Any comments or questions on paragraph 4? Nope. Okay, okay. Would somebody like to read paragraph 5?
Yes, I'll read. As many practice periods as possible should be undertaken today, although each one need not exceed a minute or 2. They should begin with telling yourself, I am the light of the world. That is my only function. That is why I am here.
Thank you. Okay. Again, very, very simple, but very useful. Okay. Very simply. Anytime you get triggered, answer with this quote, I am the light of the world. That is my only function. That is why I'm here. Okay. So you're driving to work, somebody cuts you off, you get triggered, you become a little bit angry. What should you go to immediately as soon as possible? Is tell yourself, I am the light of the world. That is my only function. That is why I'm here. So how do you become a light in the world in this situation? Maybe you pray for that driver. Say, God, please make sure that driver, it seems like he's in a hurry. Please make sure he gets there safe. I send them my love instead of my judgment. And therefore you become a light in that situation. And so it's very simple. Anytime you get triggered, anytime you're tempted by the ego, simply respond with, I am the light of the world. That is my only function. That is why I am here. Okay? Again, simple, but useful if you implement it. Any comments or questions on paragraph 5?
You know, Christians, we also say, I don't know if that's kind of like the same thing, like when you say, better is he who is in me than he who's in the world. Is that something like that? Like he who's in me will be the light, Jesus is a light.
Yes. Yes. Okay. Better is he who is in me. Well, what does that symbolize? Better is he who is in me means that the truth in me is better than who the ego has taught me that I am. Okay? And so better is he who's in me and is in the world. Put another way is like saying, better is the truth in me that God created me to be than
Mhm.
the ego has programmed me to be. Okay?
Oh, uh,
So the truth in you, which is the only truth, which is love, is better than whatever story you've been told that you are by the ego. And by the way, I don't think we finished reading paragraph 5. The second part is then think.
Yeah.
The second part of paragraph 5 is then think about these statements for a short while. Did we read that? I don't think we did.
No, we didn't, but it says 6 on my thing. Oh, that means letter 6.
That means sentence number 6, not paragraph 6. So yes, sentence number 6 is then sentence number 6 in paragraph 5 is then think about these statements for a short while, preferably with your eyes closed if the situation permits. Let a few related thoughts come to you and repeat the idea to yourself if your mind wanders away from the central thought. Okay? And so it's here it says whenever you're being tempted by the ego, whenever you're being triggered by the ego, it's useful to just close your eyes. You close your eyes to the world, right? You go within and you align with the truth in you, which is love. And then you say the sentence, I am the light of the world. That is my only function. That is why I am here. Okay. And so when the ego begins to argue with you that others are unworthy, repeat the idea for today. And so, okay, the ego's going to say to you things like, your brother is not worthy of forgiveness. Your sister is, because of what she did, you should be resentful towards her. The political party, because of what they did, you should hate them. This is all ego speak, right? Anything that takes you away from peace, from joy, from compassion and forgiveness and kindness and mercy and grace, that's the ego speaking, right? And so whenever the ego tells you that your brother or sister is unworthy of peace, repeat today's idea. Don't argue with the ego. Because remember, everything the ego says is a lie. Okay? So no matter what the ego says about your brother or your sister, other political parties, other countries, other people who don't look like you, that is a lie. Okay? And that lie can come in 1,000 forms. This is the beauty of the course. The lie can come in 1,000 forms, but the truth comes in one form. And the one form today is, I am the light of the world. That is my only function. That is why I am here. Okay? So the story comes in 1,000 forms, 1,000 plus forms, and they're all lies. Okay? So you can have 1,000 plus fairy tales that the ego tries to sell you. Guess what? They're all fairy tales. They're all not real, not true, no matter how dramatic or how interesting they might sound. They're all not real, they're all not true. And your only function is to remind yourself that you're the light of the world, and that is why you are here. So don't sacrifice any of your time, focus, or energy to the ego's stories, to the ego's arguments. Don't play around with that. Okay? Don't give it your time. Don't give it your energy. Don't give it your focus. Just immediately go to today's lesson. That is your answer to whatever the ego throws your way. Whatever story the ego throws your way, you say to yourself, I am the light of the world. That is my only function. That is why I am here. And the more you get to repeat that, the more natural and normal that sound becomes, that statement becomes. And then it becomes, the more you practice doing that, the more natural it becomes to remind yourself that you are the light of the world, that you are indeed the light of the world, that that your function is indeed to be a light in the situation. And so every time you get to practice, every time the ego triggers you, say thank you, because all the ego is doing is helping you practice remembering that you're the light of the world. Okay? So imagine if now you thank the ego anytime it attacks. If your response to any of the ego's attack, oh, thank you. Thank you for reminding me of my lesson for today. I am the light of the world. See, the more you practice, the more you reinforce that, the more natural and normal that behavior and response becomes, and less the ego has power over you. And so you see, it's simple, but it is of extreme usefulness if you do practice today's lesson as it is meant to be practiced. Any comments or questions on paragraph 5?
I have a question.
Yes.
James, when you're talking about, for example, relating to a toxic person who triggers you, who, uh, just does things you don't believe in, very toxic, very unhealthy, um, and you want to think, I am the light of the world in that situation. And when you're judging that person as toxic, that's wandering away. It's easy to say, it's easy if you can avoid that person, but what if the person is a family member and you have to deal with the person? And so you have to deal with the person in a, without the judgment. And I want to reach that stage where I do not judge, but the judgment is natural. Like thinking about the person's toxicity, blah blah blah. So how do you how do you struggle to bring the light into that situation or handle it, especially if it's somebody you cannot avoid?
Yes. First of all, you don't struggle. Okay. Why don't you struggle? Because you are already the light, right? So you don't have to struggle to be the light if you're already the light. Okay. So there's no struggling involved here. It's just only when the ego has control of your mind that you struggle. Okay. But the ego's not you. Okay. You are only love. Love can only love. Okay. So there's no struggle in being love. There's no struggle in forgiveness. There's no struggle in compassion. When you make the conscious decision to allow the truth in you to lead the way, to see through love's lens. Okay? If you see through the ego's lens, then yes, it's going to be very easy to judge your brother or sister. Okay? So if you're judging your brother or sister, it is only because the ego is in control of your thoughts and your sight. You're not in control. And then you wonder why you feel shame and guilt, and you feel unfulfilled and off balance. It's because you're not living your life. The ego's living your life for you. The ego's defining the world for you. Okay? So you're not even in control. Anytime you're judging your brother, you're angry, you're resentful, you're hateful, you're fearful, you're doubtful, you're feeling shame and guilt. Guess what? You are not in control. Your past programs are in control of your thoughts, which means they're in control of your mind, which means they're in control of your life, which means you're a zombie because all you're doing is following the ego's marching orders. Okay? So what you do is this. a brother, sister, cousin, husband, child trigger you. Okay? We're all one, right? We're all one. Right? So whatever that person is triggering in you, it's because you are holding some misperception about them as real, as more real and true than who God created. God only created them to be love, right? So your function, especially in today's lesson, is to be the light of the world, which means is to see through the lens of light, love, and see only the truth in them, the love in them as true. Okay? So if they trigger you, what is that saying? It's saying that you're viewing the world, you in quotes, are viewing the world through the ego's lens. Okay? So if they trigger you, that means that the ego is in control of your thoughts and mind and life right now. Okay? Now your job is to recognize that. Recognize it's not about them. It's not what they do. It's how I define what they do. I'm defining the situation through the thoughts that I think. If I change my thoughts, if I change my lens, I will see them differently. What does the Course in Miracles say? There's only love and a call for love. Period. The end. Okay? So if your brother's being loving in nature, what's the proper response to somebody who's being loving in nature? Love. Right? If your brother or sister is calling out for love, what's the proper response to a call for love? Love, right? And so if your response is not love, then guess what? You're not in control of your thoughts. You're not in control of your mind, which means you're not in control of your life, which means you will never have true peace and true joy. Okay? And it's because you chose, unconscious as it may be, to allow the ego to put its lens up so that you can view the world through its lens. No. When somebody triggers you, your one and only response should be, thank you. Thank you for triggering me. Why? Why should your response to somebody who triggers you be gratitude? Now, you don't have to say it out loud, of course, but you can say it inside of your heart. But why should your response to somebody who triggers you be gratitude? Because they are showing you that you're holding poison within your heart and within your mind. By poison, I mean some misperception from the past that you're carrying forward to the now. Okay? So you have some past program inside of your heart and inside of your mind, which is poisoning you. So it's making you see the world through the dark lens of the ego. Right? They're showing you that you're holding on to the stuff inside your heart and mind, that you're unconsciously poisoning yourself so that you can bring up this poison. Okay, they trigger you, you bring up this misperception to the surface. Okay, Mike, see you later, bro. You bring up this misperception to the surface, and then here it could be healed. Okay, so what are they really doing? Those people who the ego says they trigger you, and that those people deserve your judgment. Okay, what they're really doing is showing you that you're holding poison within you. You're holding a misperception within you. But what does that offer you? It offers you the opportunity to bring this poison out, this misperception out into the physical form, so you can see, you know what? The way that I react to the situation is not bringing me any closer to peace of mind or joy. So let me try a different way. Let me try forgiveness instead of condemnation. Let me try love instead of fear. Okay? But it was only because they triggered you that you were able to bring up this past misperception to the now, so that it can be looked at, and so you can say, okay, this way of reacting to my brother or sister never brings me peace or joy. Why should I continue to support a thought system that does not deliver to me what I want, which is peace of mind and joy? Why? Why should you continue to sacrifice your life to the ego's delusional darkness and despair? You're not here to add darkness to darkness, okay? You're not here for that. You're here to add light to the darkness, okay? As the lesson says, I am the light of the world. If you are not the light of the world while you're doing this lesson, if all you're doing is judging your brother or sister because they triggered you, AKA they can never trigger the truth in you. They can trigger your past programs, okay? They can trigger the ego inside of you, but the ego is not real or true. It's only real or true because you're dedicating your time, focus, and energy to the story. If you dedicate your time, focus, and energy to the fairy tale is going to appear to be real and true. If you say stop, okay, I am no longer, no matter what the person thinks, says, or does, I will no longer sacrifice one more second, one more minute to the story. I am now, especially if I'm doing today's lesson, I'm going to answer that triggering. I'm going to answer it with this. Whatever they trigger with me, my answer is going to be to myself in my heart. I am the light of the world. That is my only function. That is why I am here. Okay? So how can I be the light in this moment right now? My ego says judge them. Judgment that never delivers me peace or joy. What can I do differently so that I can have peace and joy? Maybe forgiveness, maybe compassion, maybe mercy, maybe grace. That will lead me to peace of mind and joy, not judgment. And so those who trigger you, as we have said before in previous classes, those are your saviors. Those are the people who are helping you take the poison out of your heart and out of your mind so that you can be a light in the world. Because those poisons, those misperceptions that you've brought from the past to the now are dimming your light. And if they're dimming your light, then you're not doing what God created you to do, which is to be the light of the world. Okay? So when you judge those who trigger you, what are you doing? You're adding darkness to darkness. And how's that going to make you feel? It's going to make you feel unfulfilled. Why is it going to make you feel unfulfilled? Because you're not doing what God created you to do. Okay? So you have a choice. Do you want to keep feeling unfulfilled? Because the ego says, oh, yes, they triggered me. Let me judge. That's the proper response. Judgment, anger, resentment to my brother's action, the way he or she behaves. When the way that he or she behaves is really what? It's a call for love. What's the proper response to a call for love? The only proper response? Love. Okay? Now, of course, I'm not saying if somebody's beating you every day, you should remain there, right? I'm saying the thoughts that you're thinking are fueling your path towards the darkness or your path towards the light. Okay? You're not meant to walk any more further towards darkness. That's why you're here. Okay? You're here in this class because God wants you to start walking towards the light. And in some way, shape, or form, hopefully you're understanding my little speech that will help you make other decisions and take back control of your thoughts and mind so that you can take back control of your life and the way you react to God's Son and creation. You will never have peace or joy if you react to God's Son and creation with judgment and resentment and hatred and fear and anxiousness and shame and guilt. That's not your function here on this planet, my friend. You're here to be the light of the world. All right. Any other comments or questions for paragraph 5? No? Okay, would somebody like to read paragraph 6? Any takers for paragraph 6, or is everybody asleep? All right, I'll read paragraph 6. Be sure both to begin and end the day with a practice period. Thus, you will awaken with an acknowledgement of the truth about yourself. Reinforce it throughout the day and turn to sleep as you reaffirm your function and your only purpose here. These 2 practice periods may be longer than the rest if you find them helpful and want to extend them. Okay. Paragraph 6, sentence 1. Be sure both to begin and end the day with a practice period. Okay, so begin and end the day, okay? You want to dedicate at least 5 minutes when you wake up and before you go to sleep, and you want to think about, okay, am I holding somebody inside of my heart or my mind with judgment, with anger, with resentment? Okay. If so, let me dedicate this day and let me say to myself, each and every time I think of that person, I'm gonna repeat the idea for today to help me remember what I'm here for. I am the light of the world. That is my function. That is why I am here. Okay. Because I'm here to be the light of the world, I'm going to offer my brother and sister forgiveness or compassion or mercy or grace. And you do that when you wake up, you think about, you say, Holy Spirit, am I holding anybody inside of my heart and my mind with anything other than love? The Holy Spirit will send you that person into your mind. And you say, okay, my goal today is to just offer them compassion, mercy, grace. Paragraph 6, sentence 2. Thus, you will awaken with an acknowledgement of the truth about yourself. Reinforce it throughout the day. Okay. Let's see. So make the light your conscious companion, your conscious and constant companion. Thus, you will awaken with an acknowledgement of the truth about yourself. Reinforce it throughout the day and turn to sleep as you reaffirm your function and your only purpose here. Okay, so make a conscious decision as many times as you can today to make the light, the loving light inside of you, your conscious, constant companion. Okay, so before every interaction, before any situation, go into it, say to yourself, my companion is light. My companion is love. I'm going to go into them with love and light. That is my function today. So go into the situation, go into the interaction with your goal already set. Your goal is to be a light in the world. Any comments or questions on paragraph 6? No? Alrighty then. Would somebody like to read paragraph 7, the last paragraph? Anybody? Alrighty then, I guess I shall. I shall finish up. This is the last paragraph of lesson 61, I am the light of the world. Today's idea goes far beyond the ego's petty, get it there? Ego's petty views of what you are and what your purpose is. Okay, it's pettiness. As a bringer of salvation, that's who you truly are, a bringer of salvation, this is obviously necessary. This is the first of a number of giant steps we take in the next few weeks. Try today to begin to build a firm foundation for these advances. You are the light of the world. God has built his plan for the salvation of his son on you. Okay? My sisters and brothers, I think only sisters today. My sisters right now, if God did not need you here, you will not be here. Okay? Every breath you take is a gift from God to you. Every breath you take is God saying that you're needed here. Okay, so if you're breathing, and I trust that you're all breathing, hopefully not asleep, but still breathing. If you're breathing, then you're meant to be here. And each interaction you have, you're meant to use it to help bring the light back into, bring the world back into alignment with the light inside of all of us. Okay, let's see. Paragraph 7, sentence 2. As a bringer of light. I'm sorry, as a bringer of salvation. Okay, so you are a bringer of salvation. You're here to break the chains that hold everybody captive. How do you help people recall that they can break their own chains to the eagle's world and tools and mindset? It's by breaking your own chains. It's by forgiving when the ego demands judgment. It's by offering compassion when the ego demands condemnation. It's by trusting in God when the ego says you should fear and be worried. You are, my friends, a bringer of salvation. Okay. Paragraph 7, sentence 4. Today, try to begin to build a firm foundation on these advances. Okay. So anytime the temptation comes in, do the lesson for the day. I am the light of the world. Okay, that's how you build a firm foundation. You don't put your time, aka call them blocks, bricks, when you build the house, right? If you want to build the house, you want to put it on a firm foundation. A firm foundation is rock, right? Rock is the love that God is, right? You build it on God, not on the ego. A firm foundation is God, and a foundation is not firm, which is sand, it's the ego. Okay? How do you build that firm foundation? By responding to temptation with today's lesson. I am the light of the world. That is my only function. That is why I'm here. When you say that to temptation, you put another building block on your foundation. Okay? Paragraph 7, sentence 6. God has built his plan for the salvation of his son on you. Okay, so my friends, you're needed here. Whatever the ego says about you, just know that you're needed here. That's why God has you here. If God needed you in heaven, you would be in heaven right now. You can trust me on that. But God needs you here on earth for whatever reason. And that reason simply is for whatever experience you have during your coming days. You're here to be a light in the world. So just remind yourself, I'm here to be a light in this situation. I'm here to be a light in this interaction. And by doing so, I become an example to others that the light is indeed still within them. Oh, 8 o'clock. All right, any questions or comments on paragraph 7?
Hi, James.
Hi.
My internet is very bad. I dropped off like 2 or 3 times already. But
Right.
I really appreciate everything you said, but I couldn't catch some of them because of the internet. But what I started doing is watching the videos that you of our Zoom, and then I copy paste the text onto a Word file. And then so when I read it, it's not just hearing it, but when I read it, it's like a good way to review. So I can't wait to get the the YouTube video of this one because I can capture the things that you've said. I put it on a Word file, and then it's easier to review because yeah, I can understand everything you say, but putting it in practice, it seems I need to remember all the time. I need to remind myself constantly about it to be able to practice it. And like the course said, you need to spend time, 5 minutes saying it, and then another time 5 minutes saying it, and daily doing it daily. So it's a daily practice. So thank you.
Thank you. And yes, the videos are always up the next day at 5 p.m. And so if the internet goes off during the class, just know that you can go to the YouTube channel, and the next day at 5 p.m. the video will be up. And so yes, it's sometimes useful to listen to the video or read it through the text and make little notes and see, okay, what can I implement about what was said in the class? What can I implement today? Maybe try to take 5 or 10 good points and say, okay, these 5 or 10 good points I'm going to apply to my day today. And I'm going to apply to whatever following days that I can. And so, yes, the more you get to apply it, the more natural and normal the behavior will become. And sooner or later, it'll be normal to respond with love instead of fear. But how do you get there? Practice. So if you get there through practice, who should you thank for getting there? Every single person that helps you practice. Every single person that the ego says judge, and you get to practice instead saying, no, I'm not going to judge. I'm here to be the light of the world, and therefore I'm going to forgive. That person helped you practice. That person, because he or she helped you practice, is worthy of your gratitude and grace. And so look at them as they truly are. They are, in essence, your saviors. They're saving you from those past misperceptions that you once held dear within your heart and mind, but at the same time, which once dimmed your light. But thanks to the practice, you're now lifting those veils. And as you lift one veil after another, that light in you shines brighter and brighter, because you align more and more with who you truly are instead of who you've been programmed by the ego to be. And so thank you, person X or Y, for triggering me, because all you really did was help me practice remembering and reinforcing who I truly am, the light of the world that God created me and all of us to be. Amen. Thank you, Jesus. Folks, any final comments or questions before we close?
No,
All
thank
right.
you. No. We were here. We were here, even though we weren't saying anything. We were listening.
All right. Tomorrow, 5 p.m., if you want to just sit down and listen to the class, make a couple notes, you're welcome to. The video will be up, and I always put notes in the description of the video, so you can check them out too. All right. Thank you, folks. Thank you, Kathleen. Thank you, Lori. Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Isabel. Thank you, Angela. Thank you, Nori. Thank you, Joey. Thank you, Luna.
Thank you, James.
Namaste.
That was a beautiful class and a beautiful, amazing closing.
Thank you very much. And you'll take care now.
Thank you,
Thank you,
everybody.
James.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Care.